Hey, so I posted something about Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, and I'm taking a soccer coaching course. It's the C-level course, so the top is A, then B, C, D, and so forth. So we're doing a C-level course, and in there they're like, hey, you should watch this summary video of Stephen Covey's principles. I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't you, right? So it's been great, and it just reminds me that maybe a lot of people don't look at this stuff. So if he's got a loop in there. So part of that video, he talks about the cycle of doom, or the habit loop that most people fall into. You know, I wake up late, I rush to work, I eat some crappy food, I struggle. So you stay in this realm of working on the things that are urgent but not important. What we should really be doing is figuring out how to move our life into the quadrant of working on things that are important but not urgent. Like, I want to be healthy when I'm 90. Yeah, man, that's important. It's not urgent. I'm not 90. But you need to be working on that now, because if you wait till you're 90, well, then you're kind of screwed. But anyway, so some of the things I'm just going to kind of hit and then tell you kind of how I apply it personally. So maybe you've never done this before and you're like, how does it even work? So I'm just going to throw some anecdotes out there and then walk you through some of the stuff I've been doing for this, like building your own, or maybe how you would build your own personal mission statement. So anyway, so the first thing you need to do in this is move from a dependent. So I react and I need other stuff and people, to independent. I'm on my own. I take care of myself. And then you move to interdependence, and that is I am on my own, but I choose to work with other, because together we'll be better than individually, right? So I guess the first step is be proactive. You want to be able to influence the things around you and take care of or work on the things that you have control over. For example, I have no control over the weather, so don't worry about it. Just go and do, like, hey, so I want to go to today we're taking the kids to Terminus Water Park. It's supposed to rain when we get there. Oh, well, whatever. I'm not going to let that determine what I do. So I'm going to do it anyway. And then we're going to smile and say, hey, I like this AJR line. Instead of when life gives you when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. They're saying when life gives you lemons, at least it gave you something, right? Take it and run with it. It's being proactive, taking care of what you can, and not even worrying about the other stuff. She said, who cares? He said, whatever. You can't control it, so why worry about it, right? So I'm not saying don't be stupid. I mean, if you can't control what other people do in the car, so don't worry about them. I mean, keep your eyes open and look, right? So, right. Begin with the end in mind. This is probably one of the coolest things that they talk about. It's what do you want said about you when you're dead? I know it's kind of morbid, but nobody has ever said, I wish I worked more, on their deathbed. I really wish I'd have put more hours in. It's always, I wish I had invested in my family more. I wish I would have done something with my health. Maybe I wouldn't be on my deathbed, right? So it's think of the end in mind. And for me and my kids, we've done this exercise, and so we have these goals. Actually, I might have one of them here because we just did it on this long trip. But you start with the end, and it usually goes something like, I want people to say, he loved God, he loved his family, and I'm a better person because of him, right? Okay, so what does that mean? Well, with that in mind, I probably can't go rob a bank, right? I'm not going to influence many people if my character is off. So start with the end in mind, and then create goals that develop that. If you want to be able to influence people to the better, and you never read a book like 7 Habits, then it's probably not something you really want to do. So you can adjust those things. Next one is put first things first. That's the idea of the doing what's important, not necessarily urgent, right? And creating those programs and steps to get you to where you want to go. So if I want to influence individuals to be better, so that somebody looks back in their life and says, I made a pivotal change in my life because I was able to talk to, connect with, whatever, right? Versus I want to influence people, so I want to go into politics and just get people to hate me, right? So politics, right? That may not be the program I want to write. Maybe I go investigate it and then determine that's not for me. But the program is the actual steps you're going to use to get you to where you want to be. And you also want to create those routines and habits to help you there. So if I want to be healthy and fit in my 90s, I should probably start creating habits and routines that I can live with. This is why going back into the gym, this is why we back away from things like macro counting. Yep, you can do it. It's just not something someone can do forever. It's like a second job. And unless you're a pro athlete and that is your job, then trying to count macros for more than maybe 2 months is a pain in the butt. And you start guessing and you feel like you fail. But if you set it habits that you follow, that's even better. And there's a habit video you can watch. So the next kind of habits talk about, instead of becoming independent, talk about how to become interdependent. So we're all independent and now we're working together on purpose. Probably the biggest one that I've had to struggle with is the abundance mindset. There are tons of people out there, using my gym as an example, there are tons of people out there that need health and fitness and will use our services. I had a gym move in next door, and initially I was like, oh no, the world's gonna die, right? But within like 24 hours, I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. There's 40,000 people, whatever, in Woodstock, and we attract different people we're doing, I guess our niche is different. I want people who want to be happy, or who are or want to become happy, humble, helpful people who want to be healthy and fit now as well as in their 90s. So many of the things we do don't make sense in an anytime fitness or a Groupon-based fitness or discount fitness or whatever, because we're diving into people a lot. We really double down on coaching, mentoring, and accountability. You come to us when you're like, I really, really want to fix this stuff. That's, have a good purpose and a sticky why, right? So there are people out there we can help. That's great. Have abundance. Don't worry about what other people do. Do your thing. Again, at least life gave you something. It's not half empty. It's mostly full, right? Fill it up. This is another one that I struggle with, and I'm working on it even now, today. Right? So in listening, first seek to understand, and then seek to be understood. And probably the whole world could do a better job on this, or at least Facebook and all the crazy people. Nobody wants to listen anymore. They're just waiting for their chance for you to take a breath so they can jump in and say whatever it is they want to say at a counterpoint, whatever point you made, right? So first, seek to understand. Listen. So you change it up, and this is tough for me. I'm an engineer. I like to fix stuff. So if somebody says, hey, I had a really bad day today, I'm like, oh, well, did you try getting some sleep? I immediately want to fix stuff. Instead, you say something like, man, I hear that you had a bad day. That really stinks. Tell me about it. I didn't solve anything. I'm just here for you. And then they may ask, I didn't really get a good night's sleep. Do you know how to get a good night's sleep? Like, oh, well, now that they've asked, then you can offer, like, hey, would you like some advice on that, right? Synergy, that's just, disparate parts that come together to create more than it is. That's for me, that's easy. That's engineering. I love that. A wheel is okay, but full wheels together make a cart, and you can pull a whole lot of stuff. So yeah, synergy, no problem here. And the other one that I really love to enjoy, I enjoy doing, and I love to do it, but I overdo it, is sharpen the saw. So learn, teach, grow. You learn something the best when you teach it. So take a material, study it, and then teach it to somebody else, and you'll learn it even better. I listen to a lot of stuff. And so I guess if you take the analogy of sharpen the saw, I might be sharpening the metal so far down that it's not really a saw anymore. It's just a pokey stick. But putting that stuff into practice is really the key. So sharpen the saw, get some material, and then apply it. So typically what I do is big, broad strokes, or maybe even more paint can on the wall. So I listen to a lot of stuff, and then I look for the commonalities that they're saying, and I'm like, that's the piece that I want, and then I try to work on that. Or if there's a big, huge flaw for me, like listening, then I need to jump into that. Okay, so that's how that stuff works. You can watch the video, how you use it in your life. Maybe give some points there. If you have questions, let me know. The things that you'd want to do after that is to create guiding principles so that you know the answer to things already. For example, a principle for my life is I don't eat bread and sugar. It's a principle. It's what I do. So when someone says, hey, you want a cupcake? Nope, I don't do that. It's easy. I don't have to worry about it. It's decision fatigue. I've taken the fatigue of making decisions out of the way because my breakfast is always the same. And I know at meal times, I'm not ordering those types of foods. It's usually meats and vegetables of some sort. So it's great. I don't have to worry about the entire menu. It's just the subset that makes sense to me. Another one, like a principle is I want to invest in my kids or the people around me such that not that we're just spending time together, but in that quantity of time, there is some quality. So if there's going to be some quality, I better have something to offer. So I listen and I learn. Anyway, so you can go through I'll post these questions on there, but it's pretty cool. And you can fill in the blanks. So for example, the first one would be to blank, so that blank, I will do this by blank. And what does all that mean? So essentially the blanks would be to, so what is it that you want to achieve or become, right? So that, insert the reason why it's important. And then I will do this by, and you insert specific behaviors that you knew to get there. So an example that I wrote is to help people so that they can live an active, long life. I will do this by coaching, mentoring, and keeping folks accountable to their goals. Pretty basic. And then you can move on. Question 2, to develop and cultivate the qualities of, and then enter some qualities or characteristics that you like, that I admire in, so name a person or two, so that, why you want to do this, right? So for me, it's to develop and cultivate qualities of happy, humble, helpful, that I admire in Chris Cooper and Mac McCann, so that I can be a mentor that can impact people positively. I spelled impact wrong because I stink at spelling and it didn't catch it because the word in and pact are valid words. So it's impact. Me and my poor spelling. Anyway, I'll add these questions and I'll add what I wrote. You can go down and look at it and the doodly-doo stuff below. But it's great stuff. Stephen Covey's 7 Habits, listen to it. Or read it. I listen to it. Take care.